As we are gathered together in the meditative space today. This is a wonderful day. It is the 19th of March in the year 2023. 2023 is the year of transcendence. Even from the ashes, we are rising. We invite you, wherever you are, if you're in the space, to sit a little taller, to prepare yourself for the meditative space of opening of the way. If you are at home, we invite you to go ahead and prepare yourselves mentally. Text a friend. Take a moment to let people know that we are on, that we are here at 641 West Nocturne Drive, and we are excited that you are with us for another wonderful Sunday of the Infinity Fellowship. My name is Jeff Obafemi Carr. I am the Chief Spiritual Officer here at Infinity, and I'm so grateful that you've chosen to join us today to receive your spiritual food on this wonderful Sunday. So let's take a deep breath together. Exhale and let it go. I invite you to take another deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. And allow your eyes to close gently from top to bottom. And from this space of deep breathing, of centering, we find the space of gratitude that exists within us all. Simply focusing our energy on the breath, the feeling of the air as it enters into the nostrils and travels to the back of the throat, down the throat and into the lungs, expanding the chest, expanding the belly. Pausing gently when full to experience that feeling of fullness of life. Exhaling and consciously tracing the air as it releases from our body into the atmosphere. Slowly, consciously, inhaling gratitude, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, where you're supposed to be in the right now. Exhaling and releasing the things that you no longer need, the things that no longer do you service, the things that no longer do you good, the things that trouble you, the things that worry you. Just release them in the exhale. Continuing to breathe just like this. From this space of gratitude, we invite all heads to be bowed and all hearts to be open in this moment. As we now begin to tune and to turn this focus toward the God of our acceptance and understanding. Some of us have a name, some of us just know the energy, but we know that it is the inner space that activates the outer space of awareness of the divine presence. From this space of connectivity and awareness and gratitude, we pray together. As we have risen, we now give thanks to the spirit of our beginning. We are alive, we are breathing, we are grateful to be living. As we move through this day with our purpose in our heart, we remember that a grateful ending does begin with a grateful start. And so we're grateful, Divine Source. We're grateful to be able to perceive you by many different names and yet know you by one unifying energy. We thank you, God, today for the gathering. We thank you for those who assembled here in person. We thank you for those who are on the way. We thank you for those who are watching us on the Infinite Life Stream, wherever they are in the world. And we speak love into their lives. I just want to thank you for those who show up, who are present, those who come and put their skills and talents every single Sunday into this space. To Brother Treese, who got up the hill today and made it into the space today to stand on the wall at the door, for Sister Angela, who is constantly there making sure people can get in and out safely with love, to Brother Daniel, who is working those microphones and that sound and making sure that the experience is consistent, to Brother Tony, who is lighting the space and working the stream and moving the technology and talking with people and making them feel community, to all of our Infinite Life streamers who communicate with each other, for those who show up in the space when it's time to cook, when it's time to clean, when it's time to serve. We give thanks. As we are growing in this space today, we recognize that we are now in an era where it is most important for us to come together as community, because community can cure the ills that are facing our society right now. To those who have transitioned to life after life in this past week, for those moments that may have been painful for those who are in bereavement right now, we send comfort to them right now, to their spirits, to their energy, to those families. We lift them up in light. We lift them up in love. To those who are in the sick and shut in position, we send aid to you. We send love to you. We send light to you. We let you know that we are thinking of you. We are praying with you and for you, and we are speaking healing over your life right now. For those who are in this space to receive the spiritual food today, we speak that something that can be sparked in an action, something can be felt in a song, something can be seen or shared in a smile that will remind us that we are the fingers on the hand of God in this world, and that we are happy to wave, we are happy to hug, we are happy to fist pump, we are happy to thumbs up, we are happy to peace sign, we are happy to point the way, to make sure that we always stay connected and protected by you. For these things and others we can't put into words, we simply say, we thank you. We breathe together, inhale in gratitude, and we exhale and release into the atmosphere. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. Let us prepare for our pouring of libations. Ashe. As we enter into the space today, we start by, after praying, which opens the doorway because we acknowledge the presence of the divine in ritual. We then pour our libations at infinity. And libation simply means a pouring out of water. Sister Kamaria Smooch is going to come forward and help me like she used to in the baby days. We are welcoming you to the altar today. The altar is representative of the fire, the water, the air, and the earth. And so we pour with water, which represents the living. We pour into the earth. It represents what happens to these physical earth suits when we no longer need them. And it's important that we begin to preserve these rituals, that we continue rather to preserve these rituals for the next generation. So even if it's one person that remembers, if that one person remembers, we're going to have consistency for another generation. Ashe? All right. So we use that word because it means life, breath, and spirit. In the air, if you were here, you would hear or you would smell the scent of the holy wood, the Palo Santo. And so as we smudge this space today, we pour our water. And as we pour our water, we say, cool water, freshen our spirits. Ashe. Freshen and consecrate this house of spirituality. Ashe. Freshen our collective ancestors. Ashe. We give praise to Almighty Mother, Father God, Divine Source, and all creation. Ashe. Grant to us peace and prosperity. Ashe. We pour to the energies of the north where we find our direction. And the north says basically, we are here to be a yes. That's whether it's one person or 5,000 people. We're here to be a yes today. We are committing to show up the energy of the north, Ashe. To the energies of the south, where we are remembering who we are and whose we are, Ashe. To the energy of the rising sun of the east, because I don't know about you, but I'm so glad I got up this morning. And I'm so glad that there are some things in my rear view mirror that I don't have to deal with anymore. That's the direction of the east, Ashe. To the setting sun in the west, to the rising of the lunar cycle and the divine feminine principle of the moon, we give thanks that there's always light in the darkness, Ashe. And of course, we give thanks to the ground below us because we are grounded in who we are and our practices that help us to grow and help us to know, Ashe. And of course, to the skies above us, that sixth direction, the landscape where we see our dreams and are able to pull them into reality, Ashe. And finally, that seventh direction, the most powerful direction, it's Grand Central Station, Smoochie. It's the direction that pulls everything together at the intersection. And what space is that? Do you remember? It's the heart. Oh yeah, it's the human heart. So our heart is where our desires and dreams are, and we pour and say, Ashe. All right, good. Now, we're going to ask that everybody here and at home begin to call the names of the ancestors aloud so that we can recognize them. When you call the name of the ancestors, you keep their memory and their presence alive. And I know in my family, we've had some transitions of our ancestors. Two of our most powerful living people have now become our most powerful ancestors. And we call their names aloud because it remembers, it recognizes the good that they did in this world and the power that they now have, that they are now present with the divine cosmos, Ashe. We want to pour for at least 3 special people that came up during the week in our consciousness here. First, for the energies of Brother Lance Reddick, Ashe. Y'all may not remember Brother Lance Reddick, but Lance Reddick is the actor who played the lieutenant on The Wire and Lost in several television shows. Strong presence and energy. Just an amazing brother, 60 years old, made his transition, but will ever be immortalized in celluloid and film. We also pour for the energies of one of our neighbors, the Reverend Dr. Arold N. Martin. My oldest daughter is Uncle Arold. So we send it to you, Reverend Dr. Arold, and to the Arold Martin family. We say Ashe. And finally, we pour to a man who asked us what we won't do for love. To the energies of Brother Bobby Caldwell, singer-songwriter. We might do a little something with him a little bit later on in service, but Ashe to the great Bobby Caldwell. Now I ask if you have ancestors you'd like to bring into this space of remembrance and celebration, please say their names aloud at this time. Ashe. Haywood H. Carr, Queen Mother Catherine Carr, Thomas and Gussie Haynes, Della Mae Carr, Haskell B. Carr, Queen Mother Bernice Brunson, Queen Mother Zuli Ursary, Queen Mother Melba Sewell, Queen Mother Dorothy Smith, Ashe. As we continue to pour, we remember names like Horace Marion Frazier, Eloise Frazier, W. Dury Cox, McDonald Williams, Jamie Williams, Innocent Davis, Martha Davis, Benita Ruth, Davis Holman, Carter Ashe. All those who we remember in this space of love, Brother Sean Harris, Sister Tia Barbara Hale. And finally, we pour for the children in the womb, world, and yet unborn. And we say Ashe, 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 oh. Thank you, Smoochie. It is done. Awesome. And we pause as people are coming in. Come on in. All right. All right. Ashe. 1, 2. All right. Are we there? We're there. Are we on podium? All right. Our signal strong because I don't hear a lot in the house here. All right, make sure we're good. All right, so as we are trickling in, today's meditation comes to us from Queen Mother Bernice Brunson. Queen Mother Bernice Brunson's birthday, our heavenly birthday, is on the 22nd, and she wrote an awesome book called She wrote an awesome book that's called "The Day a Day Changed History." And it's interesting because our theme has been it's planting season this month. So as we are preparing for that, I want to pull from a poem that she put. It's the final poem in her book, and it's The Day a Day Changed History. It's called Our Charge. What a great voice from beyond the space. Give me a little more my house volume on the podium, Mike. Daniel, thank you very much. Awesome. All right. And Sister Brunson said, to plant the crops and sow the virgin seeds, to reap the harvest that supplies our need, to break the bread that is the staff of life, to share the word as peacemakers, easing strife, to pray for others, not for selfish gain, to comfort those who need relief from pain, to paint with brush an artist's concept fine, to write a verse, a poem, a lyric line, to display talents given us at birth, to spread our fortune every place on earth, to follow dreams laid in the paths for you and me, to do our part to reach our destiny. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. I invite everybody to stand in the space today and stand here at home. We're going to sing together, Peace, Peace. We give thanks to Sister Kanitha. We're few in number in here. Everybody's coming in and trickling in today. So that means that we're going to sing extra loud as we need to. Sister Smooch, you going to help us out? All right, come on.
Peace, peace, wonderful.
That the God of your acceptance is made. And as we are singing along, we want to make sure that you all get the words and we know. So we got them on the screen. So as we celebrate, as we sway in the space, we want to make sure that we're feeling that energy. All right. Y'all know the words now. Come on, let's sing along.
The world can see. All right, peace, 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 wonderful peace. Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, peace, peace, everlasting peace. Let my peace shine bright so the world can see. Let's get some love. Love, love, wonderful love. Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, love, love, everlasting love. Let my love shine bright so the world can see. Some more joy, 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 wonderful joy. Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, joy, joy, everlasting joy. Let my joy shine bright so the world can see. And some more peace, peace, peace. Yes, wonderful peace. Enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, peace, peace, everlasting peace. Let my peace shine bright so the world. Let my love shine bright so the world. Let my joy shine bright so the world. And let my peace shine bright so the world can see.
All right, we're going to generate some gratitude so we can get this energy going in the space today so we can be seated. At this time, we're going to ask Sister Kanitha to come over and lead us through our statement of infinity.
Well, all right.
All right. Awesome.
Well, good morning, everybody. And online, good morning to you. As I welcome you to the Infinity Fellowship, I remind you of the 4 core principles of this gathering. We call it SNAP.
Yes.
The essence SNAP is for spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own understanding. The N in SNAP is for nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit. The A is for action, because we take action in our callings and walk in our divine purpose every day. And finally, y'all, this is important. The P is for the proof that our spiritual practices manifest fruit in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, relationships, careers, and dreams. We are grateful you all are here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation, perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy. And so this is the foundational practice of true interspirituality, where all are affirmed in love energy. So I invite you all at home and in this space to stand with me and join me in our statement of infinitude. We agree that we are beings of pure, eternal spirit, birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it, because it will only last for a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we commit to provide like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religious faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background. All are truly welcome at Infinity. We agree and accept that various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is the application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, and spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to the many ancient terms of affirmation. Amen, Amin, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe.
Yes, and I appreciate that everybody sang peace with me, because I jumped the gun on it. I was so happy to have some peace in my life, Travis. Right. I said, hey, we're going to sing that anyway. But we are here now, and we get to say good morning to you. So we get an opportunity to generate gratitude in the space. So good morning, Infinity.
Good morning.
All right. So it's March Madness. It's Final Four time, Sweet 16 and all of that. Beginning of spring. So everybody's must have kicked it really hard last night. So people are going to be slowly trickling in today. But for those of us who are here, we're going to say good morning. Then we get to generate gratitude by giving something that we're grateful for. We'll introduce ourselves. Sing along.
Good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. And we say a da 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 da, a da 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 da, a da 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 da. Good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you.
All right, let's spread this. Let's move around. Introduce yourself to somebody. Tell your name and tell them something.
Good morning to you.
It could be something small. It could be something big. You could have just got out of the bed. That's enough. Let's do it. If you're at home and watching online, type something you're grateful for in the box.
Say, da 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 So good morning, Infinite Life Streamers. I'm so glad that you are with us on this great third Sunday morning. So what are you typing in? What is the thing that you're grateful for? I'm so excited to see about it and hear about it. I know I'm grateful that we're here together on this good day. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. To you. Good morning. Woo. Woo. Good morning. We don't have Reggie. Well, good morning, everybody.
We are, man. We're sending love to Reggie. And of course, Thanksgiving for Reggie leaving us with the great track for us to sing good morning to him and Nalani, who are getting ready to go on tour. They're going to be in tour for much of April, right? Babe? Much of April, all of April. So Reggie's going to be on the international tour. So we're going to be singing in some wonderful creative ways here in the space, and we're excited about that. We're going to carry that energy into our giving time. It's time for giving. We got to make it up, y'all, so they can hear something. We're time for giving. That's it. We love to give at this community. Giving is a sacred part of any ritual that builds community and expands institutions. As we grow, as we expand, you all, we are excited to feed and to pour into the spiritual institution that pours into us. So we got so many things to be grateful for. So this is the time that we begin our giving process. You can give via Cash App. You can give via PayPal. You can give via snail mail. You can put it in the box up front. We have envelopes in the back. We do keep track for you of your giving. So at the end of the year, you get your statement so that you can see everything that you've been growing in. And I guarantee you, when you get into the practice of regular giving, and those who take that next level and do the tithing, where you give 10% of what you receive to the place where you receive your spiritual food, you see an immense moment in your life. You can look back. I know I personally look back and say, wow, my giving has gone up. Well, if my giving has gone up, that must mean that what I've received has gone up. So what a great way to open the frequency of giving, to be in a space where we are growing. We got some new stuff downstairs, kiddies, as a result of everything. So y'all get to have fun zone downstairs. So y'all got some stuff. Sister Kanitha was laying out some stuff yesterday. I was like, man, I started thinking of that song. Yeah, I was like, back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid. Some of y'all don't know about that hip hop, but I was wishing I was a kid again. So after y'all leave today, I'm gonna go downstairs and play with some of y'all's toys this afternoon. But these kind of things are what we're able to do in this spiritual community. And we're excited about where we're going. We're excited about where we're growing. And we're excited and thankful and grateful that we're here to provide spiritual food to you. So as we prepare to give back, we can never beat God giving to us for everything that we have. I get an opportunity to go and visit people who are struggling and people who are working their way back to spaces of health. And if you could put a price on a deep breath for some people, they would empty their bank accounts for that. So if we're here, we're live, we're breathing, we're feeling great, we're going to pour back at this time. So find the space of good within you, because we don't see money as an evil thing. We see it as a tool. And it is a tool for us to continue to build and grow and love. So take a deep breath. Exhale, release. Go ahead and stand to your feet with me as we say our offertory affirmation, which will be on the screen. O limitless, abundant creator, source of everything I possess, you have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference, and so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention. knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken. And so it is. Say it with me. Everybody, everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. I got it. I got it. I got it good. All right, let's sing along as we get it going.
Good and I got it. I got it. Oh, I got it good. Hey, everything is good. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Yes, it is. I said everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, sing with me now. Everything is good. Hey, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything is good. Yes, it is. I said everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I got it. Oh, I've got it good. Yeah, sing it like you mean it. I said everything. I said everything. Hey, everything is good. And I got it. I got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it. Yes, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. Yeah. Woo!
Awesome, awesome. And we have gotten into the space now. We had a little technical glitch, but that's what happens with technology. It glitches. You know, it's like the story of a person complaining about a airline flight being too tight, and it didn't reflect to think you are sitting in a lounge chair flying through the air. How amazing is that, right? That's like mind blowing. Sitting in a lazy boy chair flying through the air, and we're saying, this is just taking me too long. Okay, well, remember the horse and wagon days when my granddaddy had to get from one state to another. It took him 3 days. So, you know, hey, we're giving thanks for everything today. So everything is good. This is a reminder, if you have a standing ovation, you all, that you want to celebrate an accomplishment, write it out on a piece of paper from the back and put it in the red jar, because it's time for our visitors welcome. I'd like to say good morning again. For those of you who are first-time visitors in the space or even online, this is when we welcome you to the Infinity Fellowship. We invite you to hold up your phone, take a picture of the QR code, and to fill out the welcome form so that we can send you a little love note. It's a great little form to get. And guess what? If you bring the love note back, you get a special gift too. So we want to make sure that we take care of you and we let you know about the Infinity Fellowship. Infinity is a space where people make the quantum leap from really harsh religious doctrine into a space of expansive spirituality. And it's that spirituality that grows us and grows us together as a community. So this may be your first physical time at Infinity, but we got a secret. And that is that we know the real you. We know the who, what, where, when, and why. So we have any first-time visitors, would you stand at this time so that we can at least just kind of clap our hands? Any first time? All right, everybody give it up. Clap. Since we want you to know that we don't see you today as a human being who showed up to have a spiritual experience, but we see you the other way around. You're a spirit navigating the human experience just like us. So we're all together in this space. We got coffee that we're going to have in the lobby and tea and all of that. Anything we can do for you, let us know. We're going to say our visitors welcome, though. So if you're standing near any of our visitors, go ahead and stand near them. Hold up the hands over here. Stand up to each other. At home, you can look at me. I'll be here on the screen. But this is how we say welcome at Infinity to each other and remind each other of who we are. So everybody take a look in somebody's eyes. I know. We're taught not to look at somebody because people want to fight. We don't fight in Infinity. We love. This is our official welcome. Turn to somebody near you and just repeat after me. I see you, but you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You're a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me, where I can let you know, if nobody else will, that you are not alone. I'm with you and you're at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You're so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same thing. So we're going to help each other out. All right? I know the real you. And I see you shining today. I feel you shining today. I know you're shining today. So welcome to Infinity. Welcome home. Ashe. All right, give somebody a high five. Give somebody a hug. Give them a fist bump. Give them a thumbs up. We're going to take a coffee break right now. Grab some coffee, grab some tea, grab some water in the lobby. We're going to read off some of the good things that are coming across too online. We love you. Yeah. So excited to be with you all today, y'all. This is a wonderful Sunday. We're getting things set up, as you see, the Remarkables there, but I'm here now. Jeff Obafemi Carr here with a special message from my office. Many of you recognize the office from when I have to or get to do some TV shows and appearances and interviews, conversations that we have from time to time. But it's so good to see many of you online. Good to see you, Stacy. I've been missing you. Grateful for life, hope, and second chances. Michelle Mayberry, good to see you, Michelle. Looking awesome as usual. Hello from Texas. Grateful for great weather. and a healthy body. Love your family. Tashana Lindsley's in the house. Grateful for If and the Power of Music. Anita Baker and the Clark sisters, keeping my spirits up, and the Voices of Infinity, of course. Tanita, good to see you. I missed all of you in the Rev chat this week. Grand Rising from Durham, North Carolina. See that you're grateful for life and many other things. We're going to put some of those things up on the screen. Iris is here from Lee Hemp Farm. Grateful to explore, acknowledge, and increase my knowledge to those who came before me. So it's great to see you all in the space today. Listen, we got some great announcements coming up. And I'm inviting those of you who are in Nashville to go ahead and make the extra effort to begin to show up, especially on first, second, and third Sundays. It's energy in the place is great, and we love to amplify that energy with your presence. What a wonderful time it is. It's time of spring. We're coming up on some wonderful anniversaries. Especially the month of April is important at Infinity Fellowship. You'll see why in announcements in a few moments. But for now, I just want to say I appreciate you accepting the calling that each and every one of you has to live your divine destiny, to walk in your divine purpose. We've got a special message for you today that's all about how to find that salvation pyramid that is within you. So I'm looking forward to being with you in a few minutes in the message, and we're looking forward to hanging out with you someday. Those who I haven't met, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person, 641 West Nocturne Drive, as we begin to celebrate all the good that is in your life. Keep shining. We need you. The world needs you to keep shining. We love you, and that's the truth. See you in a minute. We're going to get me a cup of coffee too, and we're going to continue the Infinity Fellowship. Asheo. Give me my camera and you come on up for announcements.
Good morning, Infinity. Good morning. All right. Good morning, and welcome to If Teaches Sunday. Now, in preparation for standing ovations, if you're an Infinite streamer and you have a manifest achievement that you want to report as a standing ovation today, go ahead and type into the chat box for at this time, not now, but right now. A standing ovation is an accomplishment that you have made that we can shout you out for and let us know what good thing you are birthing to the world by typing it in early. With that said, welcome to March, the third month of 2020 Trace. It's the year of transcendence. The definition of transcendence is to exist or to go beyond the range of, to surpass, exist, or experience beyond the normal or physical level. Now, what a powerful concept for spiritual practice, because this is the year, this right here is the year that we rise together to the next level in everything we think, say, and most importantly, we invite you to empower yourself continually by speaking aloud our daily mantra for the year, which is even from the ashes I rise. And again, we say together in sync, even from the ashes I rise. Flying high, baby, flying high, sky high. So next week right here, next week is Yoga Sunday. Yoga Flame, baby. Going Dalzim up in here. Yoga Flame from Street Fighter 2. I'm talking about like levitating. And it will be virtual. And again, I say it will be virtual. So next week is our moving meditation Sunday service. We call it Yoga Sunday. We'll be fully virtual again. So online only. So please do not come to the entrance because it will be locked up. Clink, clink. So Yoga Sunday has grown in size and scope. And next week, you will be able to focus on growing your personal practice from the privacy of your own home. We look forward to seeing you online next week. The next month marks Founders Day at Infinity. And on April 16th, 2014, the vision for this fellowship was accepted by Rev Jeff after years of avoiding the calling. I'm not talking about years of avoiding the calling. We mark April 16th as an official birth date of such. 6 months of research, preparation, and planning later, we held our first ever Sunday service in an amazing demonstration of universal alignment. April 16th, in the year of Transcendence, our 8th year, falls on a Sunday. Yes. And it's If Teachers Sunday at that. So prep your minds and spirits for a day of celebration. We will have a special guest speaker, and afterwards, we will have our famous potluck meal. Go ahead and start thinking about what deliciousness you will bring on third Sunday, and we will be making an event in the Band app. So make sure you get your friends and family ready to join on Sunday, April 16th, as we celebrate Founders Day at Infinity. Those are the announcements for the morning, and let's bring back up leading lady Kenitha Carr and Rev Jeff because it is time for standing ovations.
Woo! All right, our high energy at IF comes from our practice of snap. It's why we snap our fingers during this part of the service. We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys. That's spirituality. We fellowship.
I say it too. You do it too.
We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That's nurturing. We take what we learn and apply it in our lives. That's action. And if we do these, then every week we see examples of progress in our lives, and that's the proof. So let us pause to enjoy a collective moment of manifestation and expansion. I cannot talk today.
You all right?
When your name is called, please stand as I read aloud your manifestation. When I finish each person's ovation, we will snap our fingers to celebrate and affirm them, and then provide a collective standing ovation at the end.
Woo. Okay, let's see. Now, if you're on the infinite stream, type it in so that we can get your standing ovation. We want to make sure that we know people know about your manifestation, and we're going to get that in there. We got a couple of in person.
Yes, all right. So, Sister Angela.
Woo. Snap, 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 snap.
So she says, on Friday, I celebrated my 27th anniversary as a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority.
All right.
It has been a remarkable journey.
27.
On tomorrow, I will celebrate reaching the age of 56. I am grateful for all of the experiences the 55 years have provided, and look forward to the next sunrises.
Yeah. So Angie's downstairs. She went downstairs with the kids. So let's send it so she can hear it. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday. All right, in the space.
Yes.
New
All
position.
right.
New position.
So
alert.
can we have Mr. Travis?
Go on, stand up, Brother
Brother
Travis.
Travis.
New position alert.
Yes. Okay. So he says, I applied for a new position, interviewed Thursday, got the job on Thursday.
Manifestation. That's instant manifestation, brother. Instant. When you go in knowing,
Jeez.
there it is, right
Applied
there.
for it, interviewed, got the job.
On
That's how it is.
one day.
I want that.
One day.
I want
Yes.
that process.
Yeah, yes,
That's
indeed.
the process
We all
I
do.
want.
All right,
Yes.
let's see what we got
Yay.
online. If we have one coming up in there in that space. Yes, we've got Sister Destiny Muhammad. Go on and read that one. I'm going to put these in this jar.
Okay, so Sister Destiny says 2 sold out shows at SF Jazz tribute to Dorothy Ashby and Alice Coltrane. Woo!
Y'all, Sister Destiny is the harpist from the hood.
The
She
harpist
is playing
from
the harpist in
hood.
Oaktown, in the area of the Bay Area.
Sister
Congratulations.
Destiny.
2 sold out shows.
Yes, that's
Man, for an
amazing.
artist, I love it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, do we have anybody else, Tony, that's got a good standing ovation that we want to put in there? I'm seeing some good mornings. I'm seeing some greetings.
Good morning.
I'm just going to get Tony to put some of those good morning greetings and
Yes.
everything that people say up in the space while we are celebrating. Okay, Mama. So
All
that's what
right.
we got.
So if you share,
I got a standing ovation. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I'm
here.
sorry. You can't take a moment to let gratitude pass.
Yes.
The Linsleys, Terrell and Tashana,
Oh,
we were on spring break this past week.
Oh,
So
true,
in
yes.
Band App,
Uh-huh.
every week we've been doing Rev Chat on Wednesday nights. And so the community allowed me to take a break.
Mhm.
And Tashana and Terrell did a recording of a conversation they had with each other about life and about
Yes.
love and about the message that we
That
gave
previous
last week, the
message.
previous
Uh-huh.
message, and just responses to that.
Mhm.
And they did a phenomenal job.
Phenomenal.
So if you haven't watched that video conversation between that husband and wife, you watch it in the Band App. It is a great one. And they hosted a Rev Chat and brought people on a call and had a number of people on, had a great time. And everybody's been talking about it. So congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you,
Terrell.
Linsleys.
Thank you,
There's no
Tashana.
greater sign of a community's growth than when the community can continue to exist and people can
Yes.
just jump in and fill the gap. So that's the sign of growth, and we're excited about it.
We're
So shout out to the
excited.
Linsleys for
Woo!
that.
All right. So if you shared, you can have a plenty of seats wherever you are in the world while the rest of us are going to stand to our feet and give a standing ovation. Okay? Here we go. Woo! Yes. Those are the announcements for today. And ovation, so it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Shay, it's the babies downstairs.
Hey, the kids are giving a stand ovation through the floor. Isn't that great? That's great. All right. So, sister, we're going to get to the message because today is about the message. Third Sunday is when we do If Teaches. It's unique to infinity. We get a chance to have a message. We get presenters in. Today, we're going to have a special presentation on spiritual growth and development around the Salvation Pyramid. For those who brought their notebooks, those who are at home, those who are going to take pictures, you're going to be reading some of my chicken scratch. So I'm going over to the table so that we can begin this service. But this service is going to be a little bit different because we usually sing "Come and Go to That Land," but I'm gonna get Sister Kanitha to remember some lyrics. I brought some lyrics up here with us, and you're gonna sit up here with us, Sister Kanitha. You're gonna stay there for a minute. What you gonna do today? You gonna chill down there? I'm not gonna put you on the spot. So this is in order to give tribute to one of our greats. I always laugh because the Soul Train Music Awards a few years back, brother came up to sing, and people had no idea that he was what you would consider to be a white guy until that moment. If people were shocked, they were like, "Wait a minute, I thought." But soul is soul. Tina Marie, you got all the greats. So Bobby Caldwell was just a great person. So how many people know that song? If I start that song, I got the lyrics up here, but I think it's wonderful because when you live in your divine purpose and you leave something in the world, Travis knows it, he's gonna sing it. What? So if I'm at home, wherever we are, if we're at home, we could kick it off. We could go that's the key. Come on, everybody sing it. I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find a love within. What happened? I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the daze from your love, you see. What you do? I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, but they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do, do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. Make me do for love what I would not do. One more time. Make me do for love what I would not do. All right, y'all give it up for the great Bobby Caldwell. We are in the space today. All right, so I want to send a shout out there because, you know, there's some people who say, you know, they got a list of hits. They got a number of things that they leave into the world. Some people just leave something really special in the world. What if each and every one of us was born to leave just something special in the world that generations after would remember? I mean, wouldn't that be awesome? It could be something simple. There's one thing that, well, there's a ton of things that the people of ancient Egypt or Kemet left for us. But one thing they left for us was the pyramids. And so 10,000 years later, we're able to look and to marvel at what that accomplishment was. And when I think about the pyramids, I think about the first time that I was able in 1994 to go and to actually see the pyramids, to go down into the Great Pyramid of Khufu, to be around the Pyramid of Khafra and Menkaure, and to recognize that this pyramid took 70 years to build. One building took 70 years. If you drive downtown, you drove downtown 3 weeks ago, there's a building there that wasn't there before, right? And we live in a Western culture, and culture is about, in many ways, creating something quick and fast, and then moving on. So that's why there's no problem in somebody coming in, grabbing grandmama's house, knocking it down, putting up 2 tall and skinnies, building it from hardy board and aluminum framing that may 10 years from now be leaning to the side, because they'll just do like Eazy-E used to say, I throw it in the gutter and go buy another, right? So when you have that kind of energy, that's not built to last. That's not building to last. So when we build for eternity, we take time sometimes. And when we're talking about salvation, I want to be saved. I don't know why hip hop is in my head today. I got music in my head today. Should I say? I want to be saved. I think Spirit has put that in my consciousness because most people, sis, in love, they want salvation to come from external resources. And when we talk about salvation, we're always looking for somebody else to save us. And it's not by accident, it's by design. Whether you want to trace this back in Western culture to 325 AD and the Nicene Council, where they took into account that this growing teaching that this Palestinian brother who was walking around healing people was putting into the world, they wanted to crush that. And when they saw that it became so popular, the emperors then of Rome said, you know what? That's really popular. We need to use that. We need to make that a state religion. We need to codify all these teachings into something called the Bible. And we want to make sure that this Bible reflects deference to the state. Never mind that this brother's talking about the way, the truth, and the light as an example. Never mind that he's talking about resurrection. Never mind that he's talking about fear of death. We got to leave all of that out. We got to put in spaces that make people defer to the state. And we've got to say the emperor is one of you too. If you don't want to know a correlation, a modern correlation, think about music. We were talking the other day, we were watching a commercial, and we're like, you cannot watch a commercial on TV or see anything, whether it's for the NFL, whether it's for the college basketball tournament and March Madness, whether it's for clothing, whether it's Target or Kroger, without seeing people going in dancing to hip hop. Hip hop is now American music. I'm fortunate to be part of the hip hop generation. So I was there when it started. And I was there when people said, this ain't gonna last. This is just ghetto music. This is just hood stuff. It's a fad. It's not going to last. Fast forward that 40 years, 50 years, and you got American Music Awards going to white hip hop artists, and you have people getting Grammys for music that they didn't create, but they took control of. This is what states do. This is what institutions do. They find what's popular, they co-opt them and put it in. So when you're talking about history, we're talking about codifying the need for somebody else to save you. That's what the struggle is. We want somebody else to do the work. We want to say, it's not on me, it's somebody else. If I can just find the right person. I call it, say, I can say the right noun. If I could just find the right person, if I could just find the right job, if I could just find the right relationship, if I could wait till I get my money right, then they can't tell me nothing, right? It's all this, right? If, then. Look at that. If, then, and I know this is going out to those who are at home too, because you're seeing the writing in real time. If, listen to that, if, then, if I get the right person, if I get the right job, if I get the right relationship, if I get the right money, then everything gonna be all right. But the reality is, you got to live in purpose first, and then all of this will come. People, it's so interesting. I never shudder anymore at the statistics that even within Christendom, 80%, up to 80% of people who profess or self-professed Christians religion, and it usually goes with most religions, but talking about recent Pew studies, we talk about Christendom in general, up to 80% of people have never read the Bible 100% through, right? Because if you had, you would have read a scripture that said, if you are faithful over a few things, right? If you're faithful over a few things, that's the if, then what? Then I'll make you ruler over many. What does that mean? People think that means, well, you know, if I can just struggle along in poverty, then one day the Lord's going to bless me with the right scratch-off ticket, and I'm going to hit that lotto, and everything going to be all right. That's not what that means. That means that if you find somebody that is conscious, that is managing their money, and they make $500 a week, and they are able to manage that consciously and find a way to be successful, what's going to happen to them when they're making $500,000 a week? They're going to do the same. But if you are throwing away $500 a week, that you're going to throw away $500,000 a week because you're not being faithful in the few things. You're not being conscious of a few things. If you're not faithful in a relationship with yourself, if you're not loving on yourself, if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you expect to take care of other people that are around? So as we get to this space today, I want us to talk about and explore the salvation pyramid. First thing I'm going to do for you is draw a pyramid. A pyramid is a powerful structure. If we look at the shape of the pyramid, it is powerful because the bottom has four sides. This pyramid is the most stable structure in the world. It's stable because its mass is gathered at the bottom. The bottom with each level supports the top. The capstone is the most important. When I first went to Kemet and when I went back in 2008, they tell you that you're going to see something really big. And I tell people in Infinity, you can't tell me that something is big. You can't tell me that something is awesome. Why? Because I have an amazing imagination and I'm always going to be let down. When people say, oh my God, it's the most awesome thing in the world. And I go to the concert or I go to the event and I'm like, this is not awesome. So when people told me, they say, it's all inspiring when you actually see the pyramid for the first time. It's going to freak you out. And I'm like, okay, cool. So the first thing I did was lower my expectation. I said, you know what? I'm going to see something. It's going to be cool. I'm going to have a good time. When I tell you my jaw hit the floor, when we turn the corner and you look and you see the skyline of Cairo, think New York times 5, right? Skyscrapers and just landscape. And then you look in the back, you're like, what is that in the distance? Is that a mountain? And you look and you like, and the haze clears, you like, oh my God, that's a pyramid. It's massive. It's crazy. You have to drive a half a mile away just to be able to take a picture that allows the pyramid to be in the picture. It's going to be so great when we go. We're planning a trip, y'all. Infinity's going to go, so put that down. But it's massive, and you realize why it took 70 years to build. But this is the power of that. The cornerstone is always laid in the northeast corner because the cornerstone is always the most important stone. When the cornerstone is laid, it provides the foundation. Now, when we talk about this pyramid, the pyramid that I really want us to focus on is a symbol of 2 inverted pyramids. And when we see 2 inverted pyramids placed on top of each other, this has been something that you see as a symbol all throughout human history, dating back even to Egypt. There were limestone taken from the Temple of Elephantine that had this symbol on top of it. You see this symbol right here, 2 inverted pyramids. And we talk about 2 inverted pyramids. The most dangerous thing, Sister Kenitha, I could have got was a toy like this because I'd be drawing all doggone day. When we talk about 2 inverted pyramids and this star here, what are some of the names that what do we associate this star with? We associate it now in the modern time with Judaism, right? And who knows the name of it, what they call it? Right. There it is, right? So we would call it the Mogen David or Star of David. And that's modern. So when I say that's just been adopted, this moves around. So we're going to put this around here because this is what modern times has taught us it is. But there are many other times that it's been. It's also seen as a yantra. Everybody say yantra. All right, everybody say mantra. Mantra, if you've been doing Yoga Sunday, mantra is something that you speak. It's something that comes out of your mouth. It is something that you chant. It is something that Om is a mantra. It's something that you speak out there. A yantra is something that is a symbol. A symbol falls into 2 categories, right? We have the exoteric and the esoteric. Anybody that's taking a religious class with me, can you tell me the difference between the 2? It's in the prefix. Exo is the symbol itself. Eso is the meaning behind the symbol. Look at you. So for those of you who see a brother in a red and crimson and cream car with a crimson and cream suit wearing a diamond necklace, somebody else might say, oh, that's an interesting guy. But somebody who knows would say what? He's a Kappa. Because the exoteric is a symbolism, but the esoteric, if you don't know that he's a Kappa, right? But if you know, you see the symbol and it gives you the meaning. So when we talk about this yantra, we talk about this energy here. We talk about what this means. We got several of those things. In Hindu, For this symbol, the Hindu would call it a shakona, which is two interlocking triangles. In the Hindu tradition, this would represent the male and female, the balance of the divine. It would also represent what they would call supreme being, overlaid with Mother Nature. So the supreme being in this case in the Hindu tradition would be Shiva, and Shakti would be the Mother Nature energy. In other words, balance. In Buddhism, I always sometimes struggle with Buddhism because I always misplace the H. And I want to make sure I say it and do it right. But in Buddhism, it means harmony and peace. Much the same as a symbol of other balance that may come from Buddhist and Hindu teachings. A symbol that is written hieroglyphically in this way, but also can be drawn this way. Everybody remember that? I think I heard it. What is it? Yin yang, that's it. Yin yang, as we say in the West, the people who correct you culturally would say yin yang, it's yang, it's okay, we got you, yin yang, we got you. But it's all balanced. Can we just say it's balanced in here? You also see this symbol and variations of this symbol here in Masonic culture as the compass and the square. How many have seen that symbol before? And that's also considering in that sense, it also represents the microcosm and the macrocosm, right? And that's in the Masonic lore. Now I'm giving y'all some stuff that maybe the Masonic people don't fully all even know themselves, but traditionally this is where this comes from. Macrocosm, microcosm, meaning a small sample, macro meaning the big. So we still see this concept of supreme being, Mother Nature, and it equals what? Balance. Everything is about balance. That's a key word. Even in Methodism, we see this in Methodism. It's called the Creator Star. It says the Creator Star because the 3 points represent that the divinity of human beings as manifest through Christ is also the divinity that's manifest in the heavens. So the Holy Trinity, dually balanced from heaven above, as above, so below, exists in complement to one another. So everybody's claiming this thing. It's also called the Seal of Solomon. There's a story that Solomon had a ring that was magical and it would open it up and it had this symbol on there. So there's all sorts of folklore around what this symbol means. But in the end, the one key word that keeps coming through from all of these traditions is balance. How do we find balance? And how do we find salvation through balance? So Spirit gave a drawing here about a pyramid that starts with self. This is diagram 1. If we were to section this pyramid out, then this first level would be self. The reason why is you got to start with your self-development. We talk about this. What is self-development? Self-development is reading. Self-development is study. Self-development is showing up where you're supposed to show up. Self-development is being a part and parcel to being responsible for your spirituality. The West doesn't teach it. The West teaches you that some prophet, some deck of cards, some diviner, somebody else is going to be responsible for you saving yourself. But in this space, we want to tell you the secret. It starts with self. The next level of connectivity and balance is relationships. For one, we're human beings. We're communal in nature. We love relationships. That's romantic relationships. That's friend relationships. That's that next level of development that comes from that space of growth and salvation. The next level that you have from relationships is family. And family isn't always blood. It's nice that when it is, but sometimes family is just the people that you choose to be around that support you and help you grow. The next level of growth from family would be community. How do you get around people that are going to help you to grow, who are like-minded in purpose and are working to grow together? The next level from that ends up being region, because it helps geographically to help build with people. You could look at Tennessee as a region. You could look at the United States as a region of the world, because the highest level of this space is the world. Now, as you study, you begin to spark growth, not only within yourself, but within your relationships. As you begin to grow in your relationships, you begin to infect, effect, and affect your family. As you grow from your family, you begin to grow into the community. As you grow into the community, you grow into the region, and you're able to change the world in powerful ways in the end. And what we're looking for is for the world to be healed. Now, what's wrong with this pyramid here as it relates to this word right here? If I were to set this pyramid, I got a pyramid in the office, I should have brought it in. If I were to set this pyramid on the ground like that, what would happen? It'd fall over, right? It would fall over, because that's where we have a problem. We do not realize that the power is in the balance of both the pyramids. Because when we put the balance in both the pyramids, this is what the pyramid looks like in real life. Keeping in mind that capstone is one of the most important parts. Those of you who studied psychology, you may have seen Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You may remember that. This is similar to that, but y'all can go down the rabbit hole on that. Y'all remember those from classes? Now, think about that. The capstone ends up still being the most important part. But think about what we said earlier. The pyramid is the most stable architectural structure ever conceived. When you go to the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, the pyramids are based on the mountain tops that you see in the Valley of the Kings. That's why they buried people under there. That's where they buried people before they began constructing pyramids. But if you drop sand, if you drop dirt, if you drop it into a pile and just hold it there, it will naturally form a hill. It will naturally form the shape of a pyramid. So the strength in this is we have a strong world that stands as a cornerstone for the region, for the community, for the family, for the relationship. Yourself, you're built at the top of the pyramid then. So when we see that we juxtapose these two pyramids on top of each other, we get true balance. I like to say that the path forward has to operate spiritually from this place first, internally. Then it has to be juxtaposed, laid upon, and overlaid on this part. This is how we find balance in the world. This is what we mean when we say, as above, so below. This is the balance of the salvation pyramid. The salvation pyramid is all about recognizing that, yes, self is important, but self will fall if it's not connected to relationships that are healthy. Self will fall if it's not connected to family circles that are healthy. Self will fall if it's not connected in a community. Self will fall if it's not connected regionally. Regionally can be everything from culture to the community, to the spaces that you go that define who you are. And that makes us fit in with the larger world. We ain't going anywhere without each other. We're just not. But conversely, we're not going anywhere if the world, come on, device. If the world can't depend on the communities that make it up, if the regions can't depend on communities to support it, if the community can't depend on families to show up and be present, if families can't depend on people to nurture relationships, if relationships are not there, then we lose our sense of self. The message is we don't go it alone. The message is we stay together. The message is we are constantly focused on finding the balance of self, finding the balance of relationship, finding the balance of family. And this is how we become the shining star. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. I wanted to give y'all an image to take with you all this month. So at this point, I want to open the floor. Questions, comments, and observations that you might have on anything that you've seen, any experience that you've had, something that you had in your life that affirmed this, something that you're dealing with right now that you might need some help navigating through. And Tony, I'm going to ask you, if somebody asks a question in the chat, to go ahead and pull it up for me and to announce it for me with the microphone. All right. So what do we have? Don't be shy. Sister Kenitha, you want to come up here? Yeah. Trying to get my wife to come up here with me. All right, come on. I got a mic for you over there, because I know you have some reactions that come out. If anybody has a question, Tony will bring the mic. The mic is right there. He'll bring it over to you. Don't be shy. And again, this is the strongest part, when you see it and you recognize, because the beautiful thing is we're all connected. Every part is connected. And that's what makes this structure so strong. It's the connectivity. And that's why it takes time to build. Sometimes we struggle because we think we're supposed to manifest something instantly. And although it does happen instantly sometimes, we do know it happens instantly. Travis proved that. And you proved it last week, Michelle. You proved it last week with what you said. You decided to make a change. But again, mentally applying the law of attraction overlay here, the law of attraction overlay is recognizing that all things are always continually working for the good. And that as you plant a seed in the world, it is going to manifest. And it applies, that manifestation applies to every single level. Because as something good happens to you, I know personally speaking, if something good happens to me, it happens to the people who I'm in relationship with. If it happens to them, it happens to my family. It gives me strength to then contribute back to the community in a powerful way. It then makes me put down regional roots and be active. You know, there are people now who talk about, well, I'm not going to vote. Well, okay, cool. You can choose not to. I'm not a person who's going to guilt people into voting, because I always say, vote your conscience. The ancestors fought so we could vote our conscience. But you also have to recognize that everything that we're dealing with now, in terms of the court system, the appointees to the Supreme Court, the way things are leaning in another direction of discrimination, the things that are happening in the state of Tennessee, is because some people said, well, I just don't feel like I'm going to vote because I'm not going to see a difference. The system, same system, Western civilized system, that civilization, actually, I would argue civilization, the root of civilization is civil, which means civility is the social order. So I don't know if I would apply that to current civilization as it is disappearing to make way for real civilization. But I say that to say that it's the same concept of, let us put people into a space of fear, keep them inactive, and then we can feed them what we need to keep them fighting. Because that pyramid also exists in society. Everything's that pyramid too. The society here, working folks, 1%. The key is you keep the working class broke, you keep them ignorant, they will fight each other, and then that supports you continuing to siphon off everything up to the top. So that's what ends up happening. And so this notion that we are disconnected and not connected is fed to us. I'm not going to vote. Keep on not voting, because if you don't vote, then this 1% can continue to feed down everything. Well, it's white folks' fault. It's black folks' fault. It's Latinos' fault. They're taking your jobs. They can do all of this misinformation to keep you fighting to benefit. So when we talk about how these things are connected, when you begin, I'm going back to region, to be active, you might just say, it's important for me to not to appoint my sheriff, because the sheriff is going to be serving warrants in my neighborhood. And depending on who I choose, they're going to knock on the door and be genteel, or they're going to bust through the door and shoot me like they did Breonna Taylor. So you think about these things, they all are important. And then that's how you begin to infect and effect and affect the world. It all is connected. Okay.
Okay. So I was going to say that going back to that balance, what I like about the pyramid is it helps with the concept of not being overwhelmed, because a lot of times people or will say, you get your life together so that you can change the world. That is a lot, like that is like, so if I don't fulfill my destiny, I'm not going to change the world. And it just becomes, for me personally, it becomes very overwhelming. So to know that on both of those, like self is either on the capstone, or it is the foundational practice, self, of dealing with self first, but then your next level is then relationship. And so you're bringing people with you. So if I've got this destiny, this great thing that I know is coming up inside of me, a vision, a great song, well, it's going to start with my relationships, because those are the people who are going to hear it all the time.
That's good.
They're going to be the people whose lives are transformed. And it's like, okay, but then it doesn't stop right there. It goes into your whole family. So now the whole family, and I'm just using an example, a song, the whole family sings a song every gathering we get to. And it's like, oh, that song that you wrote, it has really inspired me in all these ways. And you're like, oh, okay. And then it gets out into the community. So it's just like, if we can start with, not getting overwhelmed with life, but from the balance perspective, it's step by step, moment to moment. And so this symbol here, or this whole setup, it helps really, for me, of seeing, oh, it's step by step. My first part, though, is dealing with who I am and, tapping into that and pouring into myself. And then the next step is, okay, relationship. Okay, I can handle that. I can look around and see, instead of looking at it like, oh, the whole world, there's billions of people. How am I going to reach, all of these different people? It's just step by step. It's step by step.
Step by step. The first pyramid is the step pyramid at Saqqara, built by Josher. And it's right, because the first pyramid, if I go back to that, the very first pyramid was a structure that had to be perfected. So it's called the step pyramid. When they were burying people and building these quasi temples, they would start with what's called a mastaba. And it was just a flat piece of stone that they would put together. They would build with several smaller stones. Then eventually they would stack on top, mimicking the mountains. And literally, when you see the step pyramid, you see that. Eventually, designers began to say, we can build on that model even more. Let's begin to fill in these places. Then you began to have what we know now as a traditional pyramid. But they began, like you said, Sister Kenitha, step by step. Step by step. So this is what, when we're working to improve our lives, we just go step by step. I encourage everybody, as you're working, give yourself some grace. Give yourself, because here is where it gets imbalanced. I'm going back up here. I'm about to give some life purpose instruction right here on this first level here. The reason why this particular level, this particular model is important for you to remember that things start with self, but the reason why this particular model is inverted here is because it tells you, I don't want to say that word, but I got to, because that's what popped in my mind. So I got to be honest to the spirit. It tells you the utter lunacy of trying to save the world before you save yourself. Look at that. If you say, because some people, listen, and I'm being honest, sometimes we have experienced trauma. Sometimes we have experienced pain. We have seen it all. When we are dealing with trauma and pain, you often meet people who say, well, what do you want to do with your life? Well, the first thing I want to do, I want to help others. I want to heal the world. I want to help my community. And everybody is fixated on saving people because one trauma response is, if I can't heal my past, then if I can heal other people, that's going to somehow fix my past. No, it's not. It's outside. It's external again. And again, there's always a balance between the external and the internal, between the exoteric and the esoteric. The 6-pointed star, that hexagram, is about the balance. It's always reminding yourself, be balanced. Be balanced. I tell the story of one of my great spiritual teachers, Metahochi Shangodeli Zanu, who taught. He had his grandson with him all the time. And I say this repeatedly, I'll continue to say it. He had a wonderful relationship with his grandson. And he spoke 2 or 3 languages with him, traveled everywhere with him. And he was 14 years old. This kid spoke fluent Yoruba and French, I think, all a wonderful spiritual teacher. One day I said, Metahochi, I said, Baba, how did you develop this strong relationship with your grandson? He said, in the 60s, I was a Black Panther. I said, really? He said, yeah. I spent so much time trying to save the community that I looked up and my son was grown. So I'm trying to make up for that, for trying to spend time with his son, with my grandson, because I messed up a relationship that I had with my son because I was out trying to save the world. And we see that in this pyramid here, that if we focus so much on trying to save the world or build the community and do all that, and we're not developing self first and foremost, then we're going to topple over because it's out of balance. That's a great point that you made, Sister Kanita. It brought that to mind there. All right, questions, comments, observations. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. That's what we're here for. Sister Destiny in the chat, I can see is saying, she's saying this.
Come on.
Questions, comments, or
Yeah,
observations.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. Just so they can hear you at home. It's people streaming from all over the world. Listen to this great comment.
A little nervous. People at home. Okay.
I love it.
No, I was a psych major, so as you was drawing it, I was like, oh, this is upside down Maslow. And I was just watching as you going up, but it was, different wording. But my big takeaway was, Maslow, it teaches you the last step is self-actualization. So it's interesting to see that you saying start with self and work your way up, because it will topple over. And it hit me because I'm like, Maslow, that's like Western, that's what we've been taught. So that's how we work. That's how we operate, because that's how this whole society is built. And the whole time, everybody's pretty much toppling over, trying to do all these other things. So I'm like, it makes sense now. You got to flip it and have balance. So I'm just like, it just hit me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, because you see that with Maslow's pyramid and self-actualization is that, but it doesn't happen in a bubble, right? It happens all together. So we often learn things. And this is where, when you think about this, when you think about even the pyramid there and any relationship it has to Maslow, if I could bring that up, if I had that technology on the phone. But if you think about this, self-actualization is found out of what? It's found out of the relationships that you have. It's found out of a connection to the family. It's found out of the community that you come out of. All of these things work together in a balanced way. You take an organism, you take a cell. I think Gary Zukov talks about this a lot. You take a cell and you place it around other cells that are growing, then it's going to grow. You take that same cell and you put it around cells that are dying, and it's going to die. So there is very much science that backs up the power of environment. You take an individual and you put them in a different environment, they're going to grow differently based on what that environment is. So you're not automatically preset. You're not automatically predetermined. Your DNA gives you some bones, but based on the environment that you place yourself in, if you place yourself in a loving environment, in a nurturing environment, where there's a community that surrounds you, there are people who are elders who are there, there's a culture who are there who are giving you rituals. You see that in aging. People live longer lives when they have all of these things in place. And intrinsically, when you look back, a lot of times people aren't diagramming this on a piece of paper every day. The important thing I have in a good spiritual community is it gives you an opportunity to reset that. But when you look and you ask elderly people in the Harvard study that trace people, still trace, and I think the oldest person in the Harvard study is like 97, 98 now, but they trace these people throughout their entire lives, a group of people, they had common things. And a lot of those common things were on this doggone pyramid right now. They had a community. They got up, they gardened. They went and saw people at the coffee shop every morning. My mom, who lived to 93, she had Miss Halsey down the street. They went to the Walgreens. They went to the Monday on Coffee. They went every Wednesday. Miss Weathers came up. They did Bible study on the porch and they sang hymns down the street. There was so many consistent pieces of community, family, relationship that it allowed them to grow old comfortably. So these things connect. They are all connected in the space of balance. Always operate outside the bubble. Great comment. Great with that. Tony, you got something? You want to read something or say something?
Yeah, I was like something, but I was gonna wait till everybody else got done. Everybody good? Okay. What I get from it, without being too pedantic or either graphic, is I think about the I think this is in the Bible, but it talked about how truth comes from the loins. And if you kind of think about the symbolism of the design of them, if you think about the fact that it's almost like the Ankh, if you think about it, when you really look at it and see the fact that this is basically life in this case, you have basically the masculine and feminine together. And with that, with that being together, you basically create a beneficiary in this case. In this case, you're creating life. And no matter if it's, creating an actual physical person, or it could be, a creation in your own head. It could be a creation in your habits or a creation in your practices or anything you do, even your own imagination and thoughts. And so, when it goes back to it in the day, it really does affect like every single thing. So whatever you think, do, or say, it's going to basically manifest itself into a thought becoming a thing in this case. And not only will it affect yourself, it affects everybody else around it too. And so, and I think the one thing that's very important is that, as it shows self at the top, it also shows at the bottom too, the importance of being grounded, but also at the same time, when you say at the top, it could also think if we get caught up in our own ego, we get caught up in that, then, then we basically lose out on our relationships, our family, community, region, and world, So I guess the most important thing I would say from this is the, really finding your own truth. And of course, at the same time, as you're doing that, being grounded, but not getting too caught up into what the world is, getting too caught up in everything else around you, but really making sure you get back to self, which is very important. Because if you don't at least become true to yourself, then you're going to find yourself, following the world's truth of what they believe in.
That's good. So, that's good, Tony. That's good. And I would posit, right, based on what you're saying right now, I would posit that this goes back to a teaching I gave several months ago. And we go back to the screen, Tony. When you're operating itself upside down, it's really not self. It's ego. Right? So give me this screen as we go there. Thanks, Tony. Yeah. It's ego. This self that is actualized in this place is not ego. The self is who you are. The self is who you truly are beyond the external things. It's when nobody else is around. That's who you truly are. It's you recognizing your divine purpose on this earth, what you were uniquely born into this world to give. That's self. Anything else is ego. And you can also tell by the motivation. The pyramid here, it's ego to say, I'm here to save the world first. I'm here to save the community first. That's all ego, because we're getting props for that. Oh, that brother's always there. He's a community brother. He's a strong brother. He's always showing up. But how is the life? How's your individual life? How's your relationships with people? How you take care of, dare I say, how do you take care of your finances? How do you take care of your household? Do you show up when people say they need you? Because externally, if we're doing this from an ego space, we're trying to offer one of the surefire characteristics, attributes of being in the ego space is when you're always trying to save the world, but your personal life is in shambles. Like everything, like you can't have a conversation one-on-one, you can't focus, you can't clear things off the table, but you're externally focused on how everybody perceives you. That's why you got to eliminate that space. Sister Stacy asked in the chat that I can see on my YouTube. I might be a little bit behind, but she said, can you expound on how self is both the capstone and the cornerstone? The cornerstone, usually laid in the northeast corner, is the most important stone because it gives you direction and a template for how to square the rest of the building. Every building that is right, so it's how you square the rest of the building. So the ground floor is where you start. Self is where you finish. It's an accomplishment. It is the end all. This is the beginning. So the cornerstone represents the vision imagined and planned. The capstone represents the vision achieved. The two pyramids. The balance of duality can be summarized across all cultures, whether you're talking about the Hindu, whether you're talking about the Christian or the Egyptian concept of the two inverted intertwined pyramids. If you notice our symbol over there behind the podium, the pyramids are intertwined, the solar and lunar cycles put together. But if you look at what balance means, there's also scriptural text that confirms this. And Stacy, this will make it all clear. As above, so below. Heaven, earth, cosmic, real, natural, supernatural, cornerstone, capstone. As above, so below. Stability at the bottom, stability at the top. Laying a strong foundation in all the other spaces, the recognition of that as a capstone and accomplishment. The capstone is the accomplishment. Capstone is that degree. The capstone is that whatever that may be. It's saying, I have reached this manifestation of who I'm supposed to be. Say that again. Good question. Why do we think?
If that's true, then why do we think things are going so well in heaven?
Well, yeah. It's because we forgot what it's like to be in heaven. The concept of heaven. Because see, the concept of heaven now as it's taught is you go through hell on this earth. So your hell is right here. If this pyramid thing can last all day long. It won't. I promise you. We ain't gonna do it all day long. We got a couple more minutes and then we out of here for the day. But this concept of Western concept of the pyramid is poverty, hard times, racism, sexism, brokenness, anger, riots, inequities, sinfulness, all of that. And the beautiful thing about it is all of that exists. This is called, in the Western concept, Mike, this has a simple word. It's called life on earth, because that's what they convince you. People convince you this life on earth. And then if you're lucky and you get through all of this, you get the capstone, which is heaven, where all you do all day is, walk around on streets, whatever it may be. And heaven is different things. It's nirvana in some cultures. It's, walking around with laying in the bed with 100 virgins or whatever it is. It's whatever you can be, but it's almost inconceivable in this world because you don't allow yourself to experience the notion, when you're thinking of external salvation, that you deserve to have a good life here, that this life is on purpose. So you're supposed to struggle. Then when it's over, you get the capstone in. You're rewarded. You get a crown. Everything is there. This does not jibe with many people spiritually, even right now. There are people who are listening right now who are like, wait a minute, what is this concept I'm trying to struggle with? The reason why you're struggling with it is because it doesn't make sense, because it doesn't align with what you see around you. When you see poverty, when you see racism, when you see sexism, when you see classism, when you see all of that hell that people are going through, you get what?
You think something's wrong.
Right.
How would you know?
So how would you know, right? But you have cognitive dissonance, to use another term of psychology, because you're walking around experiencing this, being told that you're supposed to experience this, but then you see other people who are not experiencing it. You see people living a wonderful life. You see people flying around and on islands and having great relationships and got tons of kids, and everybody's celebrating and making money and dropping a metal cards on dropping metal cards on the bar, buying rounds for everybody. And you're like, man, at some point you're going to stop that. And you're going to say, you know what? Maybe I do deserve to have a good life. Maybe I'm not supposed to just suffer and then have my good life after I'm done with this life. Maybe I'm here for a reason. And when you have that revelation, that's when you experience what heaven is. Because using that balanced pyramid, as above, so below, heaven exists inside of you already. When you find balance and you find purpose and you align yourself with self, that's where the heavenly plane exists. That's when you begin to be the seed in this world that begins to change the circumstances around you, and not the other way around. You're no longer reacting to circumstances. The concept that we're not supposed to be here, that this is somehow some kind of practice, and it's just we were birthed with all of those 400 million cells that had to come together in one particular moment for us to be born into this world in a physical body, that somehow that's just happenstance. It's just a waste. The real life is after you're done with all of this suffering. No, not for us, not for me. I'm not born in this world to do that. We're born in this world to learn and walk in our divine purpose, to be around beloved community, and to grow and that's the space of heaven. You find that place. Heaven is peace. Heaven is knowing. Heaven is alignment. And it's already accessible for you right now. And even if I was in the theological circles that I've been in having the debates, it would always stop the debate when I was like, but Jesus said the kingdom, and using the male masculine terms, because that was part of Nicaea, to masculinize everything, to make God a man, Holy Spirit sexless, the Savior a man, all the angels a man, all the disciples a men. If you think about that, so all of that. But as part of that, it would not make sense for me to go into a space like that and to not accept that I am here for a reason, that I'm here for a purpose. I can't give in to that notion that somehow we're supposed to live here and suffer for a long time, because it doesn't make sense. We live in an abundant universe. We live in an abundant planet. Human beings have, when that limited mentality, scarcity mentality, 1% pyramid mentality, they have denied resources to people. We have plenty of water on this earth to feed it, to give everybody water that wants it. We got plenty of land on this earth, Plenty of food on this earth for everybody. That concept of scarcity is a Western economic principle that has been generated just so that 1% continue to make money. But the more we break out of this mentality and recognize that there is enough for all, we walk in abundance. We walk in knowing that everything is in alignment for us. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right, let me see if I can.
So the crazy thing is that symbol's on the dollar. You really think about it.
Yeah, does everybody have a dollar? Yeah.
Like, you know that that's split. Like where
It's on the dollar.
Look at you, Bob.
No, I was going to say,
Give me that money.
you gave me this money 3 weeks ago and it ain't going nowhere because you know I don't spend money. I don't have a dollar on me. I could act like I'm a baller and say, I don't got no singles on me. I ain't got that stuff. But on the back, you got that's what you said. Yeah, we have. Oh, thank you, Dion. I'm not gonna go too down the rabbit hole, but a nunc coeptus out of many one, Latin. But we look at the pyramid. If you look at the pyramid on the dollar bill, that tells you everything. And I don't mean beyond. If you look up Tony Browder's book, The Browder File, he gives a good description of this. But if you look on the back of a dollar bill at home, wherever you are, you're going to see the pyramid because the pyramid is a symbol of civilization. What you see, though, notably, tells you everything about the pursuit of just this. Because if you pursue your dreams, everything else will come. I'll make you be faithful in a few things. I'll make you ruler over many. All of this will come. The eye is in the capstone, which is representative of the third eye, the higher consciousness. But if y'all notice something about the capstone, what do you see about the capstone, baby? You turn your mic on so you can say it, because you notice one playing.
Not attached.
It's not attached. It's separated. Mm-hmm. So if you look on that drawing, going back to what I got here, that's that space right there. It's a false separation. There ain't no pyramids with a levitating capstone. Not in history. Nowhere. Everything is always connected. The lie that was sold was that you do all of this labor and then you'll cross over and be in a space that's attached. Yeah, that's the lie. But for anybody who understands about that dollar bill, y'all, cash rules everything around me. Cream get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. It's coming. The spirit is speaking in hip hop to me today. Cash rules everything around me. Cream get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. When you think about that, though, that's an inner symbol for the capstone as a reminder that we're separate, that 1% is separate from everybody else. We live off their labor, and we utilize their labor to reach the space of enlightenment. If you've ever hung around uber wealthy people, and I've had a pleasure to be in some really powerful spaces, listen, they're not talking in the conspiracy terms that many people, when we really out here broke, think they are. They're talking about, how do I go to the Himalayas and find a wise man to teach me something? They're always thinking about these really, because the money is not an object at that point. You can argue that too. But they're always thinking for deeper experiences now because money is no longer an issue. So that separation is very real in the Western theology. It's very real in the Western mindset. And I'll say this and be very direct about this. We adopt this in many of our organizations. You can have it. You can say religious organizations, cultish organizations, whatever they are, the people at the top are separate. They are living very well, whereas the rest of the people are not doing very well, but they have seen the people at the top as an avatar. You'll hear people say that. Oh, we got Apostle, a brand new Bentley. Oh, we put in, he is looking good. He's a man of God. We see that. And it's like, you caught the bus here. And when you needed that assistance, they didn't show up. That's the upside down way of thinking of things on this pyramid. It's an imbalanced way of thinking because we recognize in this space that a rising tide will lift all of the boats. And there it is. North Star is a North Star is heavenly. All things come from it and return. North Star. That was part of, if you look at the pyramid, I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole here with y'all because y'all know we can go through rabbit holes, and we can do that in other discussions. But if you look at the pyramid of Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura, 3 pyramids that are, there are originally 16 pyramids at the Giza complex that we recognize the pyramids of Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura. Khufu, daddy, Khafra, son, Menkaura, grandson. Khufu had the biggest pyramid, but visually, little trivia, visually, the pyramid that you think is the biggest is not the biggest. It's because the son can't outdo the daddy. So Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura, these are alignment. If you look at the 3 stars in the sky that are pointing in Orion's belt, they are in the same pattern as those 3 pyramids. So if you look up and you were to trace their trajectories into the sky, they would be in perfect alignment there. People in North Africa, Africans are bad people, man. They established civilization for a reason. But visually speaking, after Khufu's pyramid was built, he couldn't build a pyramid bigger than his dad. So he built it on higher ground. Smaller pyramid, higher ground, so it's perceived to look the largest. That's like, we would call that petty boots in American society right now. But petty boots in history, wonderful stuff there. So yes, indeed. Tashana said, I used to think struggling meant God loved me. Being poor keeps you humble. God don't want that. Realizing that I was doing that to myself, wearing struggle like a badge of honor. Yes. That's what we're taught. We're taught. We're taught in church. Yeah. Right. We're taught that.
Oh, but
go ahead, baby.
And that's what I was writing down. That's the thing, is that to me, like even with that I being separate and that small percent of the all-knowing, like they have the knowledge. There's people who have the knowledge, that 1%, but they also understand, because like in the Master Key system, all these different books, Napoleon Hill, all that, it's like attracts like. So they don't take the same principles of the struggle bus, because they know that would attract more struggling. But if everybody else can buy into that, versus AKA hell versus, all that kind of thing, then you're just going to keep attracting the same thing. So for them, they're always thinking about, oh, what is it that I could set my mind to? I got to stay focused. They're always focused. They are always, putting their attention to one specific thing. And so they know that they're going to produce more of the same. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think that's part of where it's the thought that if I continue to do something a certain way, I'm going to get different results. Mm-hmm. Which you say is sanity, and being insanity.
Yes.
That if I do it this way, then something else is going to come out of that. No, if you do something a specific way, if you are doing that same thing, you're going to attract the same of that. Mm-hmm. And so you're still in this loop or cycle of it all. Mm-hmm. Versus, no, let me change the way that I feel about life, how I see it. No, I'm getting off the struggle bus, baby. I'm doing this in a different way, because I expect that there has to be more to this life thing than what I've been sold or what I've been taught all these years. There has to be more, because what's my reason, so.
And that's perfect, because we talk about step by step. If I go back to this drawing board and I go back to this space of step by step, what happens when you just have a view that is only here? If your view is here, if you only keep your eye on what's in front of you and the circumstances you see, you never rise. If you're here in this, you're focusing on just the world, you're in a circle. This can be this too. I'm going to tell you this, because a lot of times when I go down the rabbit hole a little bit,
I'm drawing a laptop, I'm drawing a book, and I'm drawing a radio. Since it's hip hop day, for some reason, I'm drawing an old school boombox. Imagine it as an MP3. But if you focus your view, I'm not even going, this little man here doesn't even deserve to have legs. So I'm taking his legs off.
It looked like he was doing warrior.
He looked like he was doing warrior pose. He looked like it. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to give him some prayer hands. And I'm just going to start him out in meditation sitting. But he is focused right now on just the circumstances. Everything that he is focusing on is relating when he's looking at the circumstances instead of focusing on the higher goal. He is getting a confirmation bias. Hip hop and psychology is just rolling today, Lord. Confirmation bias. We naturally do this. If we have decided that there is a thesis in our mind that we have determined, if we decide that young people ain't about it, then everything that we read, everything that we hear, we're going to look for evidence of what we already have believed. So we're going to see a young person show up late and say, I told you, young people ain't about their life. They ain't ready for that. We're not going to count the 9 times they showed up. We're going to count the 1 time they did. We get into this circumstance, though. We look at circumstances and we find this. So we get into this paralysis analysis where we read the books that take us down the hole. We watch the shows. We listen to the podcast. We do everything that reinforces whatever this thesis is of circumstances. And most of the time, that thesis that we give, I'm going to write this out. Lord, this thing is speaking today. Life is fill in the blank up. That's what we get. You can fill it in, but I'm going to tell you right now, whatever you fill it in with in this context is negative. So find your negative word. You can use the M word, the F word, whatever you want to use. Life is beep up. And we all have been in it. I've been in this place sometimes because my mind was focused on circumstances. And so I found evidence to remind me of how, man, life is beep up. Dang, man. But when I stopped focusing on the circumstances and reminded myself of the higher ideals, then I was able to focus and move from a position of simple meditation on the circumstances. And Sister Kanitha, in your wonderful observation, I go into warrior mode and I begin then to climb. Once you climb, you receive a view from the capstone that is overarching. You can see everything and how everything connects. Once you reach a point, and look, I'm not telling you this is going to take 50 years. This could be an aha moment that you're having today. That you are like looking, you're pulling back enough to see the circumstance. They used to let you climb the pyramid. They don't let you do that anymore. But you used to be able to climb and you could see out for miles. In Mexico, Sister Destiny's going to Mexico to the step pyramids there. When you climb up those temples in Mexico, you could see how everything fits together, how all the complexes fit together. But you can only see how things fit together when you go to the highest point. So going forth this week, y'all, I want you all to go to the highest point. Go to the highest point, because when you go to the highest point, that means that you are transcending. And 2023 is the year of transcendence. Even from the ashes we rise. Always see it from the highest point. That's the lesson today. That's the energy today. So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Ashe. Ashe, ashe. All right. Oh, man, what a wonderful day. What a wonderful time. Thank you, Sister Kanitha, for entertaining me with your presence in here. All right, everybody, as we get into Close Infinity, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and stand to your feet today as we close out with an affirmative perm. Close your eyes. Place your hands over your heart. If you're at home, do the same. We invite in the divine presence of spirit, divine source, Mother God, Father God, all creation. We acknowledge the divine presence in this moment today and give thanks for the words, for the message, for the music, for the energy that has been the fellowship today. We recognize in this moment that we have the gift to transcend. So as we transcend, we forgive ourselves for those things that we perceive to be mistakes of the past. We recognize that we can no longer hold on to them. This is a moment of being born brand new. This is a moment where we are moving forward step by step. We have observed, we have read, we have learned, we have known. And as we have come to this space today, in this right now moment, on this If Teaches Sunday, we recognize that we are uniquely gifted to be in this world, to be the change this world needs to see. So as we transcend today, as we rise from any ashes that we've had before, we acknowledge your divine presence. We recognize that with you in our lives, we can do all things but fail. We give you thanks for the gift of family and relationships. We give you thanks for the gift of community. We give you thanks for being exactly where we need to be, when we need to be here. We thank you for the love and the intersecting points of our heart right now. We shine and radiate this love in the world this week and beyond. And we speak that all things will work together for the good as we are pursuing and embracing our divine purpose. Thank you for the gift that you gave for us. Thank you for the dreams that you wrote on the inside of our eyelids that we see. We remove all fear right now. We cast out all doubt right now. We leave unsurety behind us in the rearview mirror. And in this moment, we embrace the good that emanates from you. Thank you for allowing us to be points of light that represent you. Thank you for allowing us to walk in balance this week. Thank you for us to walk in love this week. Thank you for the blessings of abundance, prosperity, health, well-being, and purpose. These things we speak in agreement. We proclaim them, know them to be true. And so it is. Amen and Ashe. Rub those hands together. We're going to shine this love and light around the room and out into the world. 1, 2, 3. Yes, the good. That's love. Because when you love self and you love who you are, you don't mind sharing that love with other folks. Ain't it beautiful? All right, let's sing our song so we can move on through. Sister Kanitha, you going to come up and lead us in the space? I love it. I think I might come stand next to stand next to you. All right, let's get a little sway on as we get it going, left and right. As all hearts and minds are clear and we prepare to move into this world that awaits your light, how exciting it is to be able to go out and change the world. Oh, it's sometimes scary. I know. Once you realize how awesome you are, then you give other people permission to realize how awesome they are too. So go from a space of love and recognize that we are all indeed part of a wonderful human family. We are grateful, so grateful that we're able to express that and share that today. Let us sing our song. The words are on the screen.
If today's a brighter day and we are on our way,
then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. We speak that the God of your acceptance and understanding, the power of the cosmos and the ancestors rest, rule, rock, and abide with you, henceforth from this place now and forevermore. Let us sing together. Amen, amen. Hotep shalom, namaste, ashe. Love you guys. See you next week online for Yoga Sunday. And then first Sunday in April, we kick it off really good. Potluck coming up next month. So y'all get yourselves ready. We love you guys. It's fact you cannot change. See you soon.